What's up, Chris? Rattey from RadioBDC here at Boston Calling. Beautiful day, wrapping up. The sun is setting, darkness is falling. We're with Will from Okkervil River. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. So interesting thing, I knew the band was from Austin-based. Turns out, Will, that you are from Live Free or Die, the Granite State, sir.
Yeah, that's right, man. They call me the laureate of the Granite State.
There you go.
I don't know. That's what I call myself that.
And I mean, I always tell people that it is literally the greatest state motto in the history of state mottos. I mean, literally, live free or die. Does it get better than live free or die?
And they got it. They understood, man. The powers that be in New Hampshire were like, oh, this state motto is like a little intense. We're just gonna roll with it because it's kind of badass.
Absolutely, yeah. absolutely. So, I want to talk about the new album that just came out this week, right? And let's just start from the top. Just talk about the inspiration and sort of what went behind it and how you feel about it.
Well, you know, it was a real sincere, kind of personal, autobiographical record to me. I just really wanted to put something on the table that was like deeply meaningful to me. If you follow my career, like I'm kind of songwriting based. I write a lot of songs that are kind of character songs, and you know, based a lot of time in the past in sort of fictional characters. And I wanted to do an autobiographical record. I wanted to do a record that was just like putting my own sort of like personal life, my own personal autobiography, my own personal stories like on the table and being like, this is where I'm at. You know, with the end goal of people who are like me, you know, and people aren't that different, being able to relate to it and being able to get it. It's an album about growing up in New Hampshire in the 1980s, but I hope that it appeals to anybody who grew up anywhere at any time. It's about kind of childhood. It's about the excitement and the sort of disappointments, I guess, of childhood.
Is there any timing to the album when you talk about you know, personal experiences? Does it follow like a novel path, if you will? Does one track go to the next, or is it jumble around? I mean, how to describe that for me?
I've always preferred a sort of a more impressionistic approach to writing, where you're kind of like fluttering around and then you kind of dive into something and kind of come out of it and dredge out something different. So it's kind of a floating from thing to thing approach.
When you say growing up in New Hampshire, is this something that you're sort of traveling down some avenues that you don't feel comfortable talking about? Or is it a positive spin? Like, wrap that up for me if you could.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing writing autobiographically. It's not anything I really necessarily set out to do. I don't really presume to think that other people are going to care about my specific autobiography. It's all in the greater sort of hope that somebody's going to relate to, I guess, to the more universal aspects of what I'm trying to talk about childhood, about having parents, about going to school, in elementary school, about like watching TV when you're a kid. All that sort of universal kid stuff. And, you know, the stuff that I think that maybe people could relate to who grew up in the 40s, or people who could relate to who grew up in the 2000s, you know. That was sort of my goal.
So a little bit of a different avenue I'm going to travel down. You guys were the social kings today, apparently, for Filter Magazine, rocking their Instagram, from what I hear.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we've been, like, Instagramming all kinds of, like, knives stabbed in watermelons and people in hammocks underneath the stage and all kinds of ridiculous crap for Filter today. Yeah, so that's been pretty fun.
There's nothing like documenting crap for Filter, right?
I've spent, you know, my entire adult life documenting crap, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, I'm an old hand.
So what's it like, you know, being in front, you know, the front man for a band based out of Austin? You're from New Hampshire, to come home to Boston Calling. You're in City Hall Plaza. The place is jammed out. Good vibe, great weather, man. Like, how do you feel?
Oh, it's been great. Being a New Hampshire kid, like, Boston was the city. It was the only city I was aware of. You know, like, every year you'd go to Boston for, like, a day or two. You know, my uncle lived here. It stood in for any kind of, like, oh, this is where, like, civilization is. So, you know, for me, as a, you know, as a sort of a child of New England, it's significant.
All right, wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for your time talking to us. Appreciate you coming up to the tent. Will from Okkervil River, Chris Rattey from RadioBDC signing out. Catch you later.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.